This is an open meeting of the Conservation Commission. This open meeting of the Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Specific information and guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Berlin website at www.townofberlin.com. And the other warnings are also available in all our old minutes. Meeting business ground rules. Please remember to request recognition before speaking, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Public comment portion of the agenda. To the extent our technical capability allows, public comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of this meeting as follows. Attendees' phones and other devices will be muted unless and until they raise their hand and are recognized by me to speak. I ask each member of the public who wishes to speak to identify their name, and I will afford each speaker time to ask a question or make a brief comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. That's good enough. Let me see. Let me just do we have anybody in the audience yet?
I guess I'll Peg here.
That's good.
Sorry, I'm talking to myself here.
Are you getting the right answer? Are you getting the right answer?
I did, yes.
Really? Wow. Well, before we get started, I'd like to make my announcement because I got to step off.
Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm sure you all saw the email today. I've been working on a technology for over 2 decades now, and lately it's has some promise, and I need to dedicate more time to it. And as you notice lately, I haven't put as much time into the CC I have done in the past. So I feel it's best that I need to open some free time for myself. So it's time for me to step down, and I gave my resignation today. It's actually effective tomorrow. The town has the email. And so I just wanted to say I enjoyed working with all you guys, and thank you for putting up for all my great jokes. And, and I'm still
waiting. We're still waiting for the great ones.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I don't blame you. A lot of people are. But you know, I don't want to break Walter's record either. He's probably been on the commission the longest. I think I might be close to second. What's that?
I think you were on before Walter.
No, he wasn't.
No, I was on with Preston Turner though, and all the way back to the beginnings. But Walter was on then, so I think he's got the first place as he's probably got tenure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
Thanks.
I'll still be around. I'll still be around for Earth Day and stuff like that. But right now, I need to focus on another activity that's taking up too much of my time at the moment. So,
Good luck.
Oh yeah. You never know. May work, may not.
Yeah.
But it's fun. So
Yeah, might as well try.
that's right. Exactly.
Is this your real job or a side
No,
thing?
I still work for Bose. I have a special agreement with Bose to do what I'm doing. It's not in competition with them. So I got a legal document that allows me to do what I'm doing, but not on their time and not with their equipment, which is typical of any company. But they were very nice to say, no, go ahead, do it. It's far out there. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a long shot, but it's been something I've been working on for really many years. And I'm not alone. I'm working out with another individual. So, but
That's cool.
yeah, it's kind of neat. That's getting exciting. I never believed it was actually have merit of possibly working, but the last couple of tests have showed that there is a very good chance it could work. So,
Cool.
Cool. Well, hopefully it does.
yeah. So who knows?
So then
Very
you'll become
exciting
a
for you.
multi-billionaire,
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and you'll buy
costing
all the
me.
conservation land for
Yeah,
us.
there you
Right.
go. No, it's costing me. I have to buy equipment and all this stuff. So it's like, so
Yeah,
no.
but that's right now.
Yeah,
When
a
you
billion is
become
a
a
lot.
multi-billionaire.
Oh yeah, right. And then who are you?
Yeah.
Liz DeKiera, Conservation Commission.
I'm still showing up for tapping that keg.
It kicked last night. Another one's on order.
Every
Don't
time
worry.
I talk to you, oh, it just kicked.
You're stuck
Mhm.
at home. You're stuck at home. What else there to do? So anyway, I just wanted to say thanks and don't know what else to say, but yeah, I'll still see you around town.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks.
Yeah, no
Thanks for
problem.
your
Thanks, Steve.
service.
I'm
Yeah.
very sad you're leaving.
Thank you, and we will miss you.
Yeah, I
You'll
miss
be
you guys
around
too.
for,
It was
Earth-
not an easy decision. I mean, and it wasn't an easy decision, but this other
Right.
thing's got me so excited that I need to pursue it.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How
So
many
Steve-
years were you on, Steve?
I have no idea. It's been,
A long time.
30, 25?
Well,
Wow.
Oh, wow.
David Marble nominated you, so David was selectman. You can figure it a little bit from that, but
Yeah.
So Dave was definitely selectman when I came to town. I think he was on when I moved here 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long he was selectman for, but
And
I'll
probably
look it up.
Walter remembers the main reason. Well, one of the reasons I got on at the time, because I used to be a four-wheeler in town, and there was a controversy, and I attended some meetings, and then I said, "Oh, okay, maybe I should get on the board."
someone ran against David Marble for that.
It's all been fun. It's all been good. So, but who knows? I may come back. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, that's the thing. You could come after you retire as a wealthy man. You can come back and devote all your resources to the
Right.
Conservation Commission.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, but no, it's been fun. And it's good, and I think we made some progress. Some things I'm tired of seeing DEP win, but I think you all are.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm gonna let you go onto your meeting and your agenda, but I'll see you around town.
Okay.
Steve.
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
Yep,
All the
bye now.
best.
Yep,
All
bye.
right. Good luck.
Wow, when he was going, he really went.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not staying.
No.
Out with the flash. On a related issue, we need someone now to serve on the Earthworks board.
On the what, John?
Earthworks.
Oh,
Not it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not assigning anybody. I'm putting it out for volunteers. So you all just sleep on it.
is that our bailiwick? I didn't even know that, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, he's
We
been
had
on
a
Earthworks.
liaison, right?
Oh, the
No,
select-
he's a member. No, we're supposed to promote somebody as a member.
oh, I
Oh.
see, yeah.
Can one of our associates do it?
Nope.
One of our. No,
Plus, we
No.
don't.
I got it.
Mhm.
you got it, Walter?
Were you talking to us, Walter, or just talking?
No, I was just talking.
I got it. I heard.
I was, never mind.
We thought you were volunteering.
Yeah, I thought you got it.
All right. Well, anyway, on to the minutes. I got to share those, right?
Hmm.
There we go. Minutes of April 17th, meeting opened at 7:03 p.m. John opened the meeting by stating it was being recorded and explained the reasons for the meeting, et cetera. Attendees, John A., Louise Jonda, Steve Beard, Walter Bickford, Carolyn McDonald, Liz DiChiara, Robin Berry. Also Holly DeGrudela, Chris McKenzie, Eric Jansen, and Peg Stone. Minutes of the it was the 7th, right? This was no 10th. What
The
it was-
7th. Didn't it say 7th?
No,
It said
No.
17.
this is all.
Oh, I had
mixed up.
changed it to
7.
7. By the way, I don't think Steve was at the meeting last week.
No,
I don't have him on my notes and he didn't vote for, on the minutes.
I personally don't remember.
I don't think Steve was here last week, was he? Yeah.
I know he wasn't. It was our hearing and he wasn't there.
Right.
Oops, that's good enough. Okay. Amendment to the November 18th, 2020 meeting. Anyway, I'm sorry. Minutes to April 7th were reviewed and corrected. Let's move to approve the meetings with corrections. Carolyn seconded. Everybody voted for it. Amendment to the November 18th, 2020 meeting. At this time, John brought the issue that an error had been made in the old business section of the November 18th, 2020 minutes. We move to amend the November 18th, 2020 minutes by deleting the reference to Buzz Harris to reflect that Buzz was associated with the finance committee. Buzz was not a member of
Was
the.
not.
It's by deleting the reference
Right.
that
It probably should say that stated that Buzz was associated. Okay. Right.
Buzz was not a member of the finance committee at the time and did not represent the finance committee when John and Carolyn spoke with Buzz. Liz seconded the motion, which passed by with the unanimous roll call vote. Treasurer's report was deferred. Bills and forms, request for reimbursement. John submitted a bills payable form to reimburse Liz the amount of $15.30 for certified mail expenses. Trail maps, John described the trail map signs he proposed for purchase to place the entrances of Mount Pisgah trails. He screen shared a map of Mount Pisgah, which showed where the signs would be placed. Walter moved that fund be expended to purchase a sign. Carolyn seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken with the following results: John, I; Carolyn, I; Robin, I; Louise, I; Liz, I; and Walter, Dunn. Mail and notices, Sullivan Pond Mall mitigation payment. John reported that the mitigation payment had been received by the town and will be deposited in the open space fund. Wetlands, Highland Ridge, DEP 107-0241. John shared Pat Gardner's report on Highland Ridge. Pat stated the site is being well managed and the site preparation work is well done. Holly asked about the status of development of the trails on the site. John commented that the project is still ongoing. On River Road West, no update. 32 Allen Road. Walter reported that no progress has been made in fixing the wetland violation. He will contact the owner on the issue. 64 Banner Road, no update. 5 dry hydrants on North Brook. Fire Chief Clark had contacted the Concom concerning the installation of a dry hydrant on North Brook. A dry hydrant would make it easier to draw water from the river. John described how a dry hydrant works. John consulted with Pat Gardner, wetlands expert, and Kim Ross at DEP. Kim said that a notice of intent would have to be filed since this would be a permanent structure. The state would also require a Chapter 91 license for the structure. Appointment 7:30 p.m. RDA for 145 Surrey Hill Road. Chris McKenzie of Dale Savoy and Eric Jansen attend the meeting for a request for determination of applicability. Eric screen shared the revised plans, which Chris McKenzie changed to reflect that changes were discussed. To reflect the changes that were discussed during a visit John and Liz made with Eric. Eric plans to cut some trees and turn the area into a field. The revisions would better protect the stormwater management and wetlands beyond. After review of the revised plans, Walter moved to issue a negative determination of applicability. Carolyn seconded the motion, which passed with a unanimous roll call vote. 8 o'clock, public hearing concerning proposed wetland protection bylaw. John opened the wetlands protection bylaw public hearing at 8 p.m. He described the proposed additions to the Wetlands Protection Act and stated stated the reasons we wanted the bylaw passed at the annual town meeting. I had rewritten that part at one point.
Yeah, because that's not, they're not additions to the Wetlands Protection Act. Hmm.
Yeah, no, I can't type.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Attendees are invited to ask questions and comment on the bylaw. New business, none. Old business, Earth Day, April 24th,
Oh.
2020.
There should be a C there that says unless you, about the list of attendees.
Huh? A, B, oh, is it, I thought you put it, oh,
Right, I had,
that's what's
Oh.
going on. Yeah, okay.
yeah, what happened to it? I know I put it in.
You did. Let me, I will add that in a minute, okay?
Okay,
I'm sorry, I opened up the wrong one. That's why that was there.
oh, okay, that's why they're,
Yeah. There's several iterations. So far, I think this is good though, except for that part. Old Business Earth Day, Louise and Liz reported that plans for April 21st Earth Day are finalized, making local businesses supporting the event by making donations for the volunteer raffle, providing refreshments. Lawrence Holyoke was lauded for her efforts to make Earth Day a success. John reported he verified the erosion controls on the site were in place and work would begin. The scheduled executive session was postponed. Krista Collins of SCT is not available. No action taken with land acquisition and management. John reported that plastic bags at an illegal excavation of an old dump site had been removed by an unknown party. Walter reported that he had contacted Chief Galvin about the illegal campsite and shooting range at 40 K's. Walter reported that he had done a site visit and did not locate the area. Walter will contact Jim McCook and Goldie, the police department will follow up on the issue. PTL area, John has been working with Stan Simpson of SVT and Rebecca Longval, both conservation agent, to determine if a campsite in that area is on private or conservation land. The Peach Hill Mountain Laurel Trail has been included in the Bolton Trail program. Pisgah, John reported he did a site visit to investigate complaints on the use of the Bennett Trail. He determined that all activity was taking place in Northborough and did not involve Berlin conservation land. He noted that the Northborough conservation agent, he notified the Northborough conservation agent of his findings. The Wetlands Bylaw Forum and Informational Forum will be held on May
2nd.
yeah, May 2nd, right? Yeah,
at South Common at 2 p.m. At the end of the public hearing, Louise moved to adjourn the meeting. Carolyn seconded the motion, which passed by unanimous roll call vote. Meeting ended at 9:50. Meeting ended at 9:16. Blah, 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 blah. Well, let me see.
Wait, what?
What?
Did it
Meeting ended at
leave
9:50.
twice?
Meeting ended at 9:16.
oh, okay, that's from the previous meeting.
It's a cut and paste. Okay,
Yeah.
now,
Right, yeah, it's
So
there
good?
twice,
we'll delete one of them.
right,
There you go.
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the first draft of the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Give me a
Mm.
sec here. Sorry about that, Louise.
do you want me to send you the final draft?
No, I'm getting it now, and I'm in the middle of cutting and pasting.
Okay,
I apologize for the delay.
yeah,
Um, you guys are very patient.
I'm meditating.
are you in Massachusetts or Maine?
I'm back in Berlin.
Attendee list attached to the end of the minutes. There's the attendees. Okie dokie. All right.
Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Is there a
Second.
second? All right. So we'll do a roll call vote. John, I, Carolyn,
Aye.
Liz,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
and Robin.
Aye.
And Louise,
Yes,
say aye.
aye.
Perfect. All right.
Oh, who moved?
Carolyn
Carolyn.
moved. I seconded. Liz?
Liz? Carolyn and Liz?
Yep.
Correct.
All right.
It was
Um,
unanimous.
All right. Treasurer's report. You ready, Robin?
Yep. Okay, so for the period ending March 31st, for the Wetlands Fund, we have $11,432.97. For the Open Space Fund, we have $186,783.19.
Does that include the 50,000?
No.
No.
Okay.
So
is a
that
March
hadn't
3rd.
reflected in the end of March paperwork. I'm trying to
Got it.
align it with the paperwork that we get from the town, just to make sure that the numbers that we have in our minutes align with something that reconciles with the town. So I'm assuming
Okay.
that's gonna show up at the end of April.
Okay, just
And
curious.
then, yeah, no problem. So the budget, we have $857.35.
Great. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Bills and forms, just I reimbursed Liz for the last certified mailing, a total of $22.95. Well, I didn't reimburse. I submitted the bills to have her reimbursed by the town. Again, we don't need to vote on this because of we had voted before on allowing me to sign off on minor issues.
Did you say that was certified mail?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have 5 minutes. Going very quickly over wetlands issues. Actually, don't have an update on Patrick for Highland Ridge. I have a text update from Dave Burke about 100 River Road. He said that things are progressing. He told me that about a week or two ago, so that was good. I do not have an update on 32 Allen. Walter, did you make contact with that
You know,
landowner?
I did not go back since the last time I was there.
Oh, okay. Might you do that?
Yep.
Okay. I have no update on 64 Banner. I expect that they will contact us once they're done with the work. And then there was a new concern about 36 Dudley. Walter, you want to talk? Walter or Carolyn, do you want to talk about that?
I went there today and talked with them, and it's very agreeable. She found him to be agreeable too, moving a bunch of unregistered cars out of there, and so they're working on it. He's not in particularly good health right now, so I didn't make up a cease and desist type order. So I just talked to him, and he was grateful and thanked me for coming down. And all that stuff. So he's going to order the fellow who he let store his trucks and logs there to clean all that mess out of there that they pushed into the wetlands. So that's moving along. And since we have no teeth, frankly, I was going to write out something. It's like 100 River Road. We can write it out and do all we want. And the same with Allen Road. So it's just going to take friendly persuasion. He said he's going to start cleaning it out ASAP. Have his friends start cleaning it out. We'll see.
Okay.
So
for
how'd this come about? I think I missed something here. I saw some emails, but I missed how it was initiated.
What was the question, Robin?
I saw the emails about this the other day, but I didn't see like how it began. I feel like I jumped in the middle of the conversation on those emails. Was there
Oh,
some initial?
somebody had complained that there was a wetlands violation on Dudley Road.
Okay.
So we got interested in it before I even got a chance to go down there. Apparently somebody had also complained about several unregistered vehicles in the yard. So the chief went down, talked to him about that. The Board of Health is aware of it. I don't know what action, if any, they're taking on it. But so anyway, both the police have talked with them about the excess vehicles, and I've spoken with him and feel that he, appreciated me going down there and talking to him rather than handing him a written thing, and that he wants to get it cleaned up. But like I said, he was actually he's in the hospital right now. They were going to, the ambulance was going to move him to the hospital sometime late this afternoon. I visited him about 2:00.
It was nice of you to visit him. Sounds
Yep.
like he handled it very well. But just for clarification, so was something recently was dumped in the wetlands? Or
Yeah,
somebody found out that stuff was dumped in the wetlands?
no, it looks like it looks like it's been done, particularly the logs and stuff, within a couple of months.
Right. And the logs are really what's in the stream. It looks like there's definitely dirt that has been filled in
Yep. Yeah.
and the BVW, but in the stream itself, at least from what I saw, it looked like it was mostly log and log debris. So, I mean, at least it's organic. At least, it still needs to be removed, but it's not like it's, cars or whatever.
Well, there is quite a bit of, if you look beyond the logs, there's all kinds of trash.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the site is really bad. The fact that,
I wasn't going to say that, Carolyn.
oh, sorry.
Well, Walter, I'm grateful that you will continue to work on him work on this issue with the landowner to get the stuff taken out of the wetlands. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one last thing under the wetland section. I did the site visit at Boundless Adventures today, met with Shannon. They've got the straw wattles and fencing up around the part where they're just going to dig on that hillside. From when we were there last for the site visit, they've actually cut down a lot of the brush, so everything's easy to get to and see. It's all pretty straightforward. They got spray painting where they're going to run the line up. It'll all be fine. So I told her to go ahead. So, and she was quite
Awesome.
pleased. Yeah, Shannon is a really nice person.
Yes, and very cooperative.
Very easy to work with. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Just for discussion, if I may, that's an isolated wetland that they're getting up in, and that actually isn't protected at this particular time. But they could actually fill it in.
Well, no, I mean, that would be isolated land subject to flooding. I think this is a wetlands, which is different. This is actually a wetlands as opposed to an isolated land subject to flooding. So it is still protected.
And I do remember during the permitting process, at one point, part of that they were proposing to fill in part of that, and the Army Corps got involved and said, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
So
everything.
they had to shift things around.
Yeah, everything's good and by the book. All right. Has Greg joined us?
Not yet.
All right. Well, fine. We'll go on to other stuff. Oh, sugar. Man, it's been a busy day. You're good. I'm did I forward you guys that thing about from Mary Porter? Did I do that or did I just think about doing that?
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it either, but I
All
wouldn't
right,
rely on me.
I'm doing it right now. So Mary Porter sent a letter and then an attachment to the Board of Selectmen, or to the Select Board, about concerns about the Highland Ridge development. There are a number of concerns expressed in the letter. Some of it has to do with all truck traffic. Some of it has to do with the way the site is laid out. That some of it has to do with the fact that the housing really isn't ideally designed for people, for seniors with any kind of disabilities or anything like that, or for people to age in place. That it's just essentially a condo with an age restriction, a condo development with an age restriction. And the last thing had to do with the fact that this company, this developer, has not gotten very good press. And there was a second letter, that gave some links and also sort of summarized the concerns again, and some requests. I clicked on one of the links and it was rather concerning. So an event that happened in Westboro where Anacasa harassed a townsperson there after a meeting. It was not good to look at. So some of the other people that had gotten CC'd, as you will notice, had sent back letters, but I wanted to bring this to the commission. As far as my initial thoughts, I mean, first of all, we're not really, most of our interactions have been with the site development team, which is a separate organization. And they actually been good to work with. This is the Russo brothers. They've been good to work with, and according to Pat, have been doing a fine job. So they're separate from Casa Realty. There will, with respect to Mary's concerns, there will be some conservation land put aside. There is being conservation land put aside, or conservation restricted land put aside, and some trail development. So
which we had to wrestle from him.
The trails is still a wrestle. The trail issue is still a negotiation. The conservation restriction was part of the original deal. That goes back to Slade.
Sure, but getting them to comply to work on it was challenging.
Well, right. So, and then there's the issue of the conservation. We've gotten them to agree to a conservation monitor, which was good.
Right.
But I'll give you guys a chance to read over that. I'm not sure, Mary had asked for a hydrology study. I don't really have a comment on that. That's something that sort of was above my pay grade.
Yeah, who would even do something like that?
A wetlands specialist. There are specialists in that. I've read through these reports. They're mostly unintelligible.
Was there supposed to be something attached to the email you just sent, Joan?
Yeah. You didn't get it?
I don't see an attachment or any links or anything.
It's buried in the middle. That would be annoying. What I could do then, because I also downloaded them, and let me.
I'll see if it shows up on my phone. Sometimes.
No, I will do it again. Let me just make sure I have the right things. I will email everybody separately.
But the issue is Mary would like to see an investigation or study of the runoff pattern.
She has multiple concerns. So there's a PDF of her letter, which I'm sending, and there's the attachment to her letter has some of those links, which, I only had time to look at one, but it wasn't a happy thing. So I just sent those as independent of the email exchanges. So you guys can read those over and perhaps later guide me in how I should, in writing a letter. A lot of this stuff has nothing to do with conservation because it's about the structure of the buildings, and that's not really our, and that's not our issue. And the truck traffic isn't our issue either.
John?
Yes, Walter.
How about if you, why not just forward it to Pat and ask him to take a quick look at things while he's there regarding the wetlands aspects of that letter and get back to us on his sort of quick and dirty look at it. And if he thinks it needs additional study or something, we'll go by that. But I think Pat could probably give us a good answer on that.
Good idea, Walter. I will do that.
The email just showed up on my phone.
The second one, yeah.
Mhm.
And Greg is here when you're ready.
All right. So yeah, anyway, if you guys could look over that and get back to me, that'd be good. All right, let's promote Greg and get that started. I will open up his RDA.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
Hi, Greg.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure.
Come on.
Good to see you.
You're 32.
Correct.
All right. Let me just, I'm opening up the Oliver website, and let me just screen share that so we can talk, everybody can take a look at the geography here. So there's Greg's house. You could wave now. There's Greg's garden. This is Crosby Road, and this is an intermittent stream. This is some wooded area here with some trees, and some of them, you know, there've been some dead trees that have been taken down. And the question here is just for the issue of fording the intermittent stream. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Just wanted to orient people. So go ahead, Greg.
So what this proposal is about is to basically just reconstruct a bridge over this intermittent stream, as you noted. And the plan to be the least invasive as possible is now to just use precast cement blocks, stack them up on both sides using the old box culvert footing rocks, because those are still in place. So you can kind of see like 2 rows of good sized rocks sticking out. So I would just build on top of those, cement block, and put a top on it.
What kind of top, Greg?
Wood top. It would be like 2x6s just strung across.
What's the purpose of that, Greg? To get cordwood back to your place, firewood out of there? Or?
Well, it's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we walk back there almost every day to take the dog. And, you know, we bring wood, you know, I bring wood down. There's still a pine tree that blew over in that microburst that we had like 6 years ago. I'd love to cut that up and clean that up. And, you know, so bringing a little, you know, tote, a 4-wheeler with a tote on it or something, or, you know, just general cleanup, general access.
So Carol and I did a site visit there with Greg on April 23rd. Just to refresh everybody's memory, this was essentially, I believe, an old cart path.
It is.
Which predated all the development.
Correct.
And there had been a stone bridge over this intermittent stream that had collapsed and was actually causing a backup of water, and Greg had levered the stones out of the way so that now the intermittent stream runs smoothly.
Yeah.
It's basically a wooded area with an intermittent stream, and nearby are some wetlands. The map actually is a little generous about the wetlands that I noted, because where the bridge would be, or whatever you call it, it's rather dry there, but to either side there's some skunk cabbage and stuff, so it gets a little mucky in there around the edges of the intermittent stream. The stream is clearly intermittent.
Yeah, a
Anyway.
couple months, like
Yeah.
the summer months, it's, gone.
Yeah.
And as that's a good point, John, that this is an old cart path and it is elevated. And it's quite dry and solid on
Right.
both sides.
Right. So you basically just slapping down some boards on top of some concrete blocks and, and then fording the intermittent stream that way.
What is the span, Greg?
So I've reduced that from my original plans. I think I was just going to copy the old box culvert, which I think is about 4 feet.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah,
six,
and
but
it's really,
yeah.
the banks are steep enough where, if the kids were gonna try to go back and forth across the stream, they'd eventually just cave the sides in. And it's really the best way to get access across the stream with the least amount of disruption.
Well, I tend to think it's all right, but I just keep it in mind. Remember our issue down there at the corner of Marlborough Road and River Road? Of course, that was a little different. That was a wider span and it lacked an already existing road, sort of a precedent, if you will. And the foundation, I'm just thinking if we approve this, we want to say why an existing road, existing abutments, that type of thing,
And if you remember the first time Greg came in, there was a culvert there that was collapsing. And so it was an old box culvert that was really collapsed underneath and, like John stated, was backing up the stream. But because of the state that it was in, it was dangerous for the kids. So he pulled the rocks out. It's beautiful back there. It's this sweet little woodland stream that runs nice and clean and clear. And he's done a nice job.
A related issue, Walter, because we're not, there's no structures going back there. This is actually it's an interesting overlap with the authority a landowner has to use a skid path or a temporary structure to ford an intermittent stream in order to pull lumber out. So this is actually probably less problematic or harmful to the intermittent stream than a skid path.
Yeah, right.
So this would actually be an upgrade from the skid path. So
just make sure we write all that into the permit, allow them to do it. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do. But other than that, because there's no structures or anything back there, it's really just slapping some boards over an intermittent stream. Without really, because that part is elevated, it doesn't directly affect wetlands at all. He's not actually stepping, the path itself is independent of wetlands. The wetlands on either side. Okay, entertain a motion.
I move that we, this isn't an NOI hearing. What is?
No, it's an RDA. So you would be moving that we issue a negative determination of applicability.
RDA.
Did you just say negative determination of applicability? I think you did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Louise?
Aye.
John? Aye. Carolyn?
Aye.
Liz?
Aye.
Walter?
Aye.
Robin?
Aye.
All right. So I will get this typed up tonight and stuck on my table for the morning, because I think the next 2 days are dry, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys sign that up, then we can, I can make copies and blah, blah, blah. And Greg, either one of us or myself could just drop it off. And if it's a little easier getting it.
I can pick it up at anywhere, town office, you can leave it in the
No, you
mailbox.
can't pick up the town office because it's closed. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll whatever, we'll figure it out. I'll just email you and we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
And since we're handling it to Greg, do you think I think I'm just use regular mail to send it to DEP? Because I also email them the thing. So I think I have it's $1 to send it in a regular envelope. So I'll do that. All right, good. So our day is done. Greg,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Take care now.
Bye, Greg.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right. At 8 o'clock we have Jay, but it's not 8 o'clock yet. Although his is not a formal thing, so as soon as Jay shows up, we can hear him.
Okay.
All right. A couple of land management issues, and then the wetland bylaw issue or two. So first, the campsite at up at the Peach Hill Reservation area. This thing was like right off the trail. I mean, right off the trail, like 10 feet off the trail. So this morning, Jim McCook and Paul Anderson and I cleaned it up. We, took it all down, dispersed the materials, raked it over, so it looks like it was never there, except for the sign I posted. Don't do that.
What does the sign say?
Well, it's the same sign. It's just, no illegal, blah, blah, blah. It was the same. I had one left over from Pisgah from last year. Remember that, Walter? The illegal trails. I had one left over, so I just tacked it up. I'll leave it there for a couple months.
There, John, what was this?
Oh, yeah. So there was like a serious campsite that went up within the last month. The first I heard about it was from Rebecca Longvall, and then I started getting multiple reports. And I sent Holly and Marcus out there to take a look for me and just verify its location, because Rebecca wasn't even up. But it's clearly on conservation property. It's right, like literally right on the trail. I mean, like it wasn't like somebody was in the woods sneaking away. It was like right there.
Is it an expensive tent?
No, they're tarps. So they had
tarp. Okay.
Or tarps, but they had cut multiple trees, multiple small trees, cut live trees, cut strapped to large trees. Everything was tied down. They had sort of like tarps going in this direction. I do have pictures.
Wow.
Right, they made a lean-to or something, right?
They're the two lean-tos with a campfire in the middle, and there are camp chairs and all kinds. There was some other stuff. It was, and Candy had cleaned up the food garbage they left behind because her dog was getting into it. It was a mess. So there were some things that could be considered to have some nominal value, and we rounded those up when we dropped them off at the police station. So if the people want to retrieve their belongings, they can go turn themselves in at the police station. So, because that's where they are. We didn't destroy anything of value. It's all there at the police station.
Well, thanks for cleaning it up.
Yeah. So Saturday morning, Paul and Jim and I, and maybe anybody else, we're going to clean up the one up on 40 Caves. That's, with a firing range. So we're going to do that Saturday morning. It took the three of us 45 minutes, and the one at 40 Caves will probably take a little longer because we have to spray paint some pink graffiti and stuff. But there's more garbage to pick up there because, like I said, Candy had picked up the food wrapping and stuff. There's junk up there, so we're gonna clean that up too.
What time Saturday morning, John?
9 o'clock. We're meeting at the Allen Road parking lot. So, but that's all just fun hanging out with Jim and Paul. They're good guys. All right. Is Jay here yet?
Nope.
Okay. Next up, wetland bylaw. So we had our outdoor meeting Sunday. I thought that went pretty well. I do have Carolyn. I was wondering, at the town meeting, are you gonna do your little slide thingy?
So there doesn't seem to be the ability to do a slide thing outside.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that's why I was wondering if we wanted to do something more in the handout packet. The handout that you and I discussed doing, which for anybody who was at Sunday, it's essentially the same thing that we handed out on Sunday. I sent that to Margaret just for a quick overview to make sure that it's going to be acceptable before we print out 400 or 500 copies. Just, just to make sure. I've not heard back yet, but I assume that she will get back to me sooner than not.
He seemed to be having a busy day today.
Yeah, it's in the Clinton offset. When we had the letters printed, I emailed them at like 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon, and they were done and delivered by like 10:30 Tuesday morning. So the turnaround time seems to be pretty fast.
Okay, good. So
right. So I think really you're just going to have to, you've gotten really good at doing your talk, and I think you just plan on doing your talk.
All right, I'll do that.
Can I make a comment? I wish we could show that slideshow.
I know.
I think it nails it. I think people that are visual need it. I think it's clear. It gives examples. John does a great job, but I think there's no way to project. Is there any way to have people watch it on their phones? Or I know it's expensive to, to color print or to print that presentation, but
Have you posted on Facebook or?
Not the presentation. Oh, and we can't on our page anyway.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Not even
so-
on the town page where
was
it's
gonna
part of the town meeting?
Yeah, I would think you could do it on the town page.
I could on the website, on the town website, I could upload the presentation. The problem with uploading a PowerPoint, and I mean, I am perfectly happy to do that. It's kind of more bullet pointed. It's meant to go along with
Oh, okay.
conversation.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I assume a handful of people will see it there, but not that many.
I was just thinking if, like, I think Louise was alluding to that Berlin Neighbors Connect page that we should be able to put it on, I would think, like put a PDF copy maybe.
Not as the Conservation Commission.
But like we could post it individually, like one of us could post
That's
it
true.
individually.
That is true. Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
I have a suggestion, and I mentioned it to Walter, and I sent Carolyn an email. After the meeting Sunday, my brain started working on something, and I think that we need to be ready if somebody says, well, what if, like on Sunday, somebody said, well, what if you have a vernal pool here and a wetlands here, and you have 100 feet buffer zone to the vernal pool, and the 100-foot buffer zone for the wetlands is 100, but they touch. Does that mean that they can't do anything with that land? We should be prepared to say, well, this is how it would work. Or if you have a house lot that the only way you can cross is going across a wetland, how would you, and it's a grandfathered law, it's not, in particular, my house lot, was approved by the planning board before 1972, so it was grandfathered. But the only way to get into it was to either cross the wetland, the small wetland in the front, or within the 100-foot buffer. So,
Well-
would the new bylaw prohibit somebody from using that lot?
Not necessarily.
Right, because it's an existing, pre-existing.
No, actually, not because of that. So there's two issues that you bring up. The first is the difference. Remember the buffer zone is an area of jurisdiction, meaning that they have to apply for a permit, but it doesn't mean that people can't put things in a 100-foot buffer zone. What the bylaw says is that it's really the 25-foot don't touch zone they can't put stuff in, but the rest of the remaining 75 feet, you know, certainly people can put stuff in. That happens all the time. We deal with that all the time. The other issue that you bring up, it has to do with the alternatives analysis. You know, if there is literally no alternative to going through a 25-foot no touch zone, or even crossing a wetland, then, you know, then the applicant probably will be able to do that.
Right.
I mean, you know, the example I had in my head was the land off of Lancaster that's near the beginning of the Mount Laurel Trail. It's private property. And for that landowner to get into that property, they have to cross that stream. You know, and you can't prevent them from building up there.
Right.
I mean, that would clearly get overruled by any court or the DEP. You know, that would be the way that, based on prior case law, that would be considered land taking. So if there's no alternative, then they have to be able to cross the wetland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Marlboro Road case, in my mind, you know, the chief reason for denying that was that there was an alternatives analysis which demonstrated you could put a house up front there without crossing the wetland.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, it got overruled anyway, but that, in my mind, was the most important piece of evidence we had that we shouldn't, you know, that the chief reason for denying the project. So the alternative analysis is quite important in that respect. But you know, so this bylaw, it actually doesn't change that situation. You know, the situation you're talking about. It's, you know, still consistent with the Wetlands Protection Act and regulations. All right, I want to bring up.
So
Right,
sorry,
Jay is here when you're ready.
I just,
go.
one more PS on the, if we do have a handout, John, are you going to read through it so that people read along to get the points?
No.
Because
No.
what seemed to happen was people are talking about buffer zones and they're talking about no touch, and they were getting confused with terms. But I think if we formalize it somewhat, if we can't do the slideshow, can we say the points? And then when people disagree with points, they're using the right vocabulary. At least we have some framework for them to ask their questions from, and I mean, things we can point back to, like, you know, bullet 2, you know, would be whatever. No.
Well, I know I can't read things like that. It's too boring. I mean, the idea is to engage people, not to do otherwise. The handout does have definitions, and I think you do bring up a good point, Liz, that perhaps when I'm talking, I should cover some basic concepts and definitions.
I would vote for that.
Yeah, it is too
that
bad
we add a definition for buffer zone, a definition for resource area.
Well, I don't want to bore them, but I want, when John makes his points, which he does well, people that aren't auditory learners I want something in my hands that say, oh, okay, he covered that point. He's asking for these 9 things. And then if I have a question, I can go back and say, you know, that second bullet about no touch, does that mean I can't develop my land or whatever? I wanted a framework more than what we had on Sunday. Just, I guess I wanted more, maybe not an agenda, but you know, here's our points, and now ask the questions, and then we can refer back to that, and we can have definitions on the back. I don't want to bore them, but I want to have some structure.
Perhaps, Carolyn, we can work on adding more, you know, significantly more definitions.
Okay.
Kind
That's
of,
probably a
it's
good
kind of
idea.
like the letter that I know has already gone out, but people might not have seen it, read it. You know,
Well,
just
hopefully
the-
they will have by town meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some
Um,
people are more likely though to look at bullet points versus reading a whole like that long letter. So
Yeah.
I agree with Liz that, you know, like I'm more of a visual person. So sometimes if somebody's talking, it's like whatever. But then when you see it, see it in a very, you know, consolidated form, it's easy to just kind of look at those bullet points,
and
you
say,
know, for
okay,
people
I
that,
get it.
yeah. That,
Should I interpret that you guys never listen to me? Is that what I'm hearing?
well, you know.
Mostly.
That's kind of what I'm hearing. Let
No,
me
you
just-
have an agenda. You know, our meetings have an agenda. We have minutes. We have
Right.
I
appointment
wasn't being
times.
serious. I
The
wasn't
the
being serious.
free formness
But I do think we
might
should
make
count on the
people uncomfortable of, you know, what are they, you know, what are they trying to say? What did I miss? You know, I
Right.
came late,
yeah.
like,
And I would bet most people aren't going to read the letter beforehand. I like it's, you know, when you think about
I
all the
know.
emails and everything that we have, everybody's bombarded with information. So we can't count on people having read the letter. I think I agree with Liz that some, you know, consolidated bullet pointed kind of thing would be helpful for people that are looking for just the high level executive summary kind of thing.
Well, we do have a one-page bulleted, bullet.
the dear neighbor. I think the dear neighbor does
My,
it. I don't think we have to invent the wheel.
Right.
Yeah, it's a simple and easy way to do it.
Could you make up signs that could be posted as people came into the meeting
That said what?
with the definitions of the terms?
Hard to read, I think.
Right. There are some terms defined, and I think we should probably add some more that will be on the handout that everyone will get as they walk into town meeting. Whether they look through the papers in their bag or not,
That's another question.
that's
Right.
another question.
So, where did that go? Sorry, Jay, just give me 2 secs. This is a bulleted thing that I think we're going to hand out. So it's a little more visually appealing.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, I think the people that are going to read the letter are the people that are directly affected by it. So if you want to get other people on board, I think something like this is you know, kind of the better way to go.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, so that this is the front page, and the back page is definitions.
Mm-hmm.
And we can add more definitions, maybe add, you know, whatever. Anyway, so.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And I
This
don't
looks
think
good, right?
you when you read quickly, and I don't think
Mhm.
it's boring. You have a good reading voice. I think just saying it.
All right, well, maybe I'll do a hybrid. Anyway, we
Okay.
shouldn't keep Jay waiting any
Sorry.
longer. That's okay.
All right, I will promote Jay.
Hi,
There you
Jay.
are.
Where I am. I got too tall. Oh, there we go. I have an easy one for you, much easier than what you've been working on.
Thank
Yes, I
goodness.
think so.
Jane, who's in charge? Carolyn, are you in charge? Of the-
No,
Hell
John.
no.
How can I,
John's in charge.
Go ahead, Jay. Why are you here in front of us?
I want to put a picket fence that shows the property line between my rental house and the neighbors, because it's kind of
And
a funny
would this happen to
location.
be 12 and 8 Linden Street?
Nope, 12
Sorry, huh?
Linden and is that South Street?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, well, let me
Linden Mark
share a
Dion.
screen here.
I can show you what it looks like if I can.
What, can you
Oh, there
see
we go.
this? Yeah. So
Yep.
this is 12 Linden Street.
Yep.
This is that little collection of water there. And so
Mhm.
you want to put the fence here,
Yep.
right?
Exactly.
Right like that?
Yep.
Okay, I take it the pictures of,
Well, I don't know
you're not
about
gonna
the
put the
back.
fence
It's
in the
just gonna be
water,
on the-
but
It's gonna be on the side, probably not in the back.
here?
Yeah,
Okay,
from the
not,
house to where the vegetation starts growing near the pond, just to keep the. Because the kid, there's kids in the 12 Linden, and Mark, who owns the South Street house, is kind of cares a lot about his lawn and yard, and it's difficult to know exactly where the boundary is. So they both agree this would be a nice way to fix that problem.
I don't see anything wrong with a fence. It's pretty simple. You can put posts in the ground or it's close to the water, so you're within a buffer zone, but it's all mowed, it's all pre-manicured, pre-invaded. And you want to put a fence across there. That's nice of you to come in, but I suppose you'd feel uncomfortable if you did it without coming in, but this is pretty straightforward. I don't see an issue here.
Yeah, so Jay had come to me asking about it, and I asked him to just come in so we could all just put eyes on it. I felt exactly the same way, Walter. But especially also where it's such a high visibility area, I wanted to make sure we were all crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
speaking of which, so.
None of my
if you
neighbors
look
ever
on this-
turn me in for anything.
I would love to turn you in for something. So if you look here, this is from the MACC handbook. It summarizes the notion of minor activities in the Wetlands Protection Act and regulations. And minor activities, if conducted in the buffer zone, are exempt from review under the Wetlands Protection Act. These include fencing if it doesn't prevent wildlife movement. And if you don't consider small children to be wildlife, and as long as it stays out of the pond, then this is not a jurisdictional matter.
Great,
You're all set to go.
Thanks for coming in.
thank you very much.
Thank you,
It's
Jay.
always a pleasure, Jay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Since we're on the issue of minor activities, I was going to bring this up. So, Dave Burke was it the public hearing?
Yes.
Brought up a number of things. He kept saying limited projects. And then that was brought up again, I think, by Peter Hoffman at the thing last Sunday. And, I forwarded you an email, which was almost impossible to actually read because it's just so long. So let me just share a couple of documents from their summary documents from the MACC handbook. The first is minor activities. And this actually is much more salient with respect to, oh, now I can see it, but you can't. Wait a minute, let me share screen. The concerns of your average homeowner in Berlin. So, these are the things that basically you don't have to ask us about. It's fine. Small pedestrian pathways, fencing, stone wall,
Unpaved.
cordwood, vista pruning, planting some trees, not lawns, but stuff like that. Converting a sidewalk into a lawn, utility poles, blah, blah, blah. So it starts quickly getting into more specific things like that. So these are all the minor activities. Then there is the issue of limited projects. Now this gets a lot more tedious to read, even with a summary by the MACC handbook. These are discretionary projects or limited projects. And the issue here is that these actually might involve wetland, not just buffer zone. The minor projects are really buffer zone projects. But this is like literally wetland projects. And they still have to be permitted, but there are some specific wiggle room areas around some of these things. But a lot of it, if you look at that coastal, we don't care about, conversion of land to forestry use, road ready to driveway cut to upland, maintenance repair structures, water dependent, airport vegetation. I don't know. It's just all this, like it's roadways and things like that. A lot of it is just really specific scenarios, which you need to get a permit for anyway. Limited project status is not an exemption from filing an application is necessary. And we're not required to approve them. They need to be reviewed. We have discretion. But we should consider the magnitude of the alteration and the significance of the project. At any rate, let me get to the point. My first point is, I can't speak for Dave, and I did I texted back and forth with him recently, but he couldn't talk long for one reason or another. I think that, the concern to the homeowners is more the minor activities thing rather than the limited project thing. In either case, this would be something we would deal with in the regulations. So if this passes, we'll drop regulations. The regulations will probably just reflect the Wetlands Protection Act and regulations in our Berlin regulations. But, I may touch on these issues briefly, for instance, as Liz suggested, but, I want to draw the distinction between the minor projects and the limited projects. Was that too long-winded?
Nope.
All right. Now, Dave did bring up another point, which I needed to run by the town council, which is interesting. And so, did I? No, here it is. Bingo. All right. So this is under jurisdiction, and I have a little highlighted thing. This is the sentence that is confusing. It says lands adjoining these resource areas out to a distance of 100 feet, known as the buffer zone, right? That sounds familiar. But then down here it says collectively the resource area is protected by this bylaw. A buffer zone is not a resource area. And additionally, later on we have the no disturb zone, which is 25 feet. Turns out making a 25-foot no disturb zone is essentially calling the first 25 feet a resource area. So this is just a little bit of inconsistency in the language. The lawyer agreed with me this is inconsistent. And then I asked her about this, which would be a potential floor amendment that where we replace lands adjoining these resources out to 100 feet known as a buffer zone with lands adjoining these resource areas out to a distance of 25 feet known as the no disturb zone. And therefore, where did that go? Did I just lose you all? Anyway, this would be replaced by the 25-foot known as the no disturb zone. And then therefore all of this stuff would be considered the resource areas protected by this bylaw. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, so
Although the 200 feet thing is complicated too.
So lands
there's just an inconsistencies in this thing, and I'm just trying to figure out how to resolve them. Another possibility is just to delete this sentence or this thing. I think that would probably suit Dave Burke's concerns, because it really depends on how you interpret the language. What are people's thoughts?
Well, that works. Delete it.
Okay.
Right. I think deleting that instead of moving sentences around on the floor is cleaner.
Okay.
But I think that if that's what we decide to do, which I assume we have to decide to do that tonight, you should make sure you run it by Barry the moderator first,
Yes, So I was-
before town meeting.
yes.
Okay,
So
just,
I spoke with Margaret about this.
okay,
Either by voice or email, I don't remember anymore. And she had pointed out to me I need to talk to Barry.
Yeah.
I actually think that was a voice conversation. But the other thing is I want to double check with Dave about this because he was the one that brought it up to begin with. And I just want to double check with him whether, you know, his concerns. It's because it's important to me that, you know, Dave is comfortable with this passage. I think I can make him comfortable with the notion of the limited projects and minor activities going to the regulations, but I want to make sure he's comfortable with that passage. So I'll reach out to him, and if he's okay with that, because, you know, and then I'll talk to Barry. Does that all make
Question.
sense?
Yeah. Different question. It looks like that thing that we're taking out is giving a definition of a resource area. Do we refer to a resource area anywhere else in the document?
Resource areas are referred to constantly in these things.
Okay. So this is not the definition.
No, it isn't. It's a parentheses summary statement, which is a little misleading.
It's a
because
little
there's so many,
refer back that we don't need.
right.
Okay. Thanks. It's not the first time we're using the term.
It's used all
No.
the time. Yeah,
do you want a motion?
sure.
I make a motion that we help to clarify the inconsistency that has been pointed out in the bylaw by removing the parentheses, parenthetical comment,
Collectively, the resource area is protected by this bylaw.
that one.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right.
Oh, actually, we should say pending approval by the moderator.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, could that be repeated so I get it down correctly? So far, I've got Carolyn moved, we help to clarify issues that was brought up. Inconsistent.
An inconsistency that was pointed out in the bylaw.
Okay,
By removing the phrase,
parentheses, collectively, the resource area is protected by this bylaw, in parentheses.
okay,
On page 25 of 43 of the annual town meeting warrant
okay, on page 25,
of 43
40,
of 43.
25 of 43.
oh, okay. All right,
Pending approval of the moderator.
okay, I'll go back and listen to the video and get it all down,
Good
but
idea.
yeah, but I'd want to have a framework.
Yep.
Thanks, Louise.
Mhm. Okay,
And Walter seconded.
right. Okay.
We should vote though, right?
We should.
Louise,
I,
John, I, Carolyn,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
and Liz.
Aye.
And as a final comment, I mean, I don't think whether it's that phrase stays or goes, that it really changes the bylaw to any appreciable significant amount. I'm just doing this to help clarify the language because of a point that Dave Burke made.
Right.
So whether it stays or goes doesn't change the substance of the bylaw appreciably.
Right, which is,
Council agreed with too. It's just a matter of clarification.
yep, exactly. Which is why I think it, as long as Barry agrees that it doesn't change it, it should be fine to change it on the floor.
Okay. That's all I got. We have an executive session, but that's all I have for tonight for the regular session. Is there any?
Yeah, I have a question on something.
Sure.
Yeah, I have a comment also on Earth Day. Go ahead, Walter, you can go first.
Somebody asked me what was going on up in Divine Fields. So I took a ride up there today. And whose idea was it to put those telephone poles in there? Anyway, it looks like a barrier on Omaha Beach when you go in there. But the big thing is, I went in there with my Tacoma, my little Toyota Tacoma, and I had jacking around 2 or 3 times to get out of there. If there were 3 or 4 cars in there, that'd be a problem. And I came back and looked at the assessor's map. Well, I paced off what's there. It's about 90 feet long and about 40 feet wide. The assessor's map says it's 65 feet wide and 140 feet long. That more than doubles the area in it. It makes it 250% more than what's there now. It's very inadequate. I mean, I would have just laid poles on the ground as bumpers like or something, or put up a woven wire fence and a few poles, but that looks terrible. But the big thing is how much we've cheated ourselves out of the area that we have a right to. So as opposed to 3,600 square feet there now, we're entitled to 9,100 square feet. So that's something to keep in mind. I think something should be done about it eventually.
Well, how about you contact Dave Smith tomorrow?
Contact who?
Dave Smith of the Highway Department tomorrow.
Fire department?
Highway Department.
Highway.
Right.
Yeah, I can. All right. I'll talk to Jimmy about it. I guess he was the one that put him in there, but.
No, I would go straight to Dave. This all gets back to the thing with Sutherian and people driving over her private property.
I know where it came from, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you feel like the boundaries of the parking lot are in error, then just talk to Dave and see if they can give some expanded space.
Did they decide where to put the poles all themselves?
Apparently.
Interesting. Okay. I will talk to Dave. I want to talk to him about something else anyway. I would like to, if he'll have the boys chip it, I really would like to clean up that stone wall across the street from 100 River Road, the Tyler Farm. It's all grown up to junk. There's a bunch of maples there. There's a few good ones. Leave the good ones, thin them out, clean it up. I mean, that's a beautiful vista down through there. And if Dave will say it's all right, even I would go in and get it all cut down, and they could clean it up. On the same score, if you go down the rotary, you'll notice on Tim Wheeler's land there, he had someone had gone on there. In fact, it was Chip Wheeler's boys up there in South Berlin, over behind the post office, all that equipment. But he has a flail like the highway department does that goes along the side of the roads, and they just cleaned up, along the stone walls and along the brooks and the ditches. And it'd be nice if we could hire them to go up, particularly that field off of Boylston Road, before you get to the 3 houses up there, just after the Neitzel Farm. God, it's 20, 30 feet out of multifloral rows and all kinds of junk. So, and that chops it right down to the ground. But admittedly, we'd want to, when it sprouts up again, hit it with some brush be gone or something like that. But it's just taken over the field up there, and that stuff is horrible. So think about that sometime, or I'll go and put together. I'll put together a list of things for you to consider on something like that. See if you would like to do that.
That's fine, but I can, getting to the more pressing matter, I can guarantee that you'll talk to Dave Smith tomorrow.
I will.
About the parking area? Okay.
if I can get a hold of him.
Louise, did you have a comment on what Walter was saying?
Yes, I happened to go by there today too, and I thought that the poles were set very awfully close to the road, that it really restricted the area that people could park in.
Thank you, Louise.
Right, yeah. It
Okay.
just seemed like it was too close to the road and too long a stretch that people would really be confined in there.
All right. Well, maybe the two of you could work on that with Dave Smith tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'm not guaranteeing tomorrow, but I'll get to him soon on it. You know, I'll try tomorrow, and if not, we'll try Friday. If not, we'll try Monday, but I'll talk to him.
And so next, first of all, Louise, I want to thank you for all your work you did for Earth Day. I think it was a very successful day.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a few comments on that. Okay,
Sure.
I thought it was it was a real community effort because there were so many things happening and so many people involved. The Hands-on Nature managed to raise over $1,000 to plant trees at 19 Carter. The bake sale brought them almost $400. Somebody gave them $400 to match it, and they got $300 from the NIP collection fund. $300 went to the food pantry. People, you know, it was commented on by Heather Simpson and Evie Dewick and Lawrence and myself that we should do something like that again next year, you know, and plant some trees someplace else, because that's part of Earth Day also, not just cleaning up, but planting trees. Right. Also, I want to thank Liz for all the work that she did on this, right? And we covered most of the streets. All the major streets were covered and cleaned up. It was the small little streets off of the major streets. And I want to say, the general store contributed coffee. They donated the coffee. Berlin Farms donated cookies, and the nursery school or the daycare down at the Rotary donated some granola bars. But I just think it was the most successful Earth Day that we've ever had. And a lot of volunteers. And Robin, thank you also for your time that you put in, and John.
Yeah, no problem.
Steve.
Happy to help.
Yeah, it was great. The weather helped too.
Yes, it
Have a
did.
nice day.
Right.
Yeah, there were a lot of people there that morning.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had more people. We had almost 100 people, including
Wow.
kids. We had a small Cub Scout group and a small Brownie troop. And hopefully it's supposed to be in the newspaper, the item on Friday, an article and possibly pictures.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Great job, Louise and everyone. It was fun too. And there was no Old Home Day, you know, because of COVID. So it kind of brought a lot of people together. It was great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Should I make a motion to adjourn
No.
this? No?
Not
Okay.
yet, because we're gonna have an executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Reason 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate. And because of the sensitive nature of the discussion, the specific property addresses will not be discussed during this open meeting. So, and we need to entertain a motion to enter into executive session with the understanding that we will not be returning to the open session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So further discussion, roll call vote on that issue. Louise,
Aye.
John, I, Carolyn,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
and Liz.
Aye.
And oh, you know what I did before we adjourn formally? We didn't talk about the opening. we now have an opening. I mean, I assume that Holly's going to want that. She's on vacation. So, but I will discuss that with her when she gets back. Did anybody have any other thoughts?
Just that we also have Heather. I know she's busy with her life.
Heather Simpson.
Yeah, is she
Yes.
officially?
She has
think
expressed interest years ago, but has not, and actually even was an associate for a while.
I think she
but-
thinks she still is. When I saw her at Earth Day, she's like, "Oh, I feel bad. I've been busy, but I've
Right.
been meaning to come back, or I've been meaning to go to your meetings."
Right,
Right.
I don't think that she would have the time to attend
Yeah.
the meetings,
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I think Holly makes sense. I do have to point out that, twice during these meetings, it's been suggested to us that, it'd be nice to have people with other interests. Actually, this has been suggested to me 3 times, people that might be from the agricultural community or have development interests, or certainly a lawyer or a wetland specialist or anything like that. So, but the thing is, this commission is a lot of work, and I think our real challenge is just getting people to volunteer and to participate. But
Right.
I'll talk to Holly about it.
We can we can ask as part of our presentation at town meeting, and we have an
No,
opening.
No.
we have enough other stuff to talk about. Got to keep it focused. And it's not our ultimately it's the decision of the select board. It's not our decision. Okay, so now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Well, don't we have to say it the way you said it?
That was to go into executive session.
Okay. Oh, so now we adjourn. Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
No, you have to say why we're adjourning.
Because it's the end of the open meeting. We already did that executive thing.
Yep.
Okay, we
So-
voted to go into
Executive
Executive
session and he
Okay,
not
stated
return.
why.
Forget
Yep.
it.
Okay, and now I'll say, make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
The open
Second.
meeting.
You'll-
Second.
And we have the link, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should.
Okay, Louise,
Aye.
John, I, Carolyn,
Aye.
Liz,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Walter,
Aye.